Hey, I bet you didn't know that Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone played in the very, very first historically black college football game. Johnson C. Smith back in the day was called Biddle in 1892. Now we know him as JCSU. But they took on Livingstone and beat Livingstone 4-0. But if you ask the people up in Salisbury, they'll tell you they won the football game because it was a snowy day and the markings on the field weren't right. I don't know. Inside the game wasn't at that ball game, but you just have to go to your history book to figure it out. But here's what you don't have to do. You don't have to go to history books to watch some of the greatest legends in black college football because we did all the work for you. Ed Too Tall Jones. How about that? Jefferson Street Joe Gilliam. My main man Doug Williams. All inductees into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Let's watch.
I feel very fortunate to be among this elite class. In fact, 6 of the people who are being inducted are also in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So they've made their mark as far as football is concerned, professionally and at the historically black colleges and universities.
I feel great, going in with a lot of these great players that I played against and a lot of guys that were before me, but it's really an honor for me to be going into the Black College Hall of Fame.
It says a lot that all of my accomplishments finally came to a head, and this is going to be a great night for me and the other inductees.
It's very important. There's a lot of history in the historically black colleges, and a lot of these guys went on to have great careers in the NFL.
So we're honored to be part of this event. We're honored to be a supporter, a major sponsor, and we're honored long term to work at having a permanent home for the Black College Hall of Fame.
When I first got the word, I was very excited about it. One of the best honors I've ever received. And just have to thank so many people. We had a very good program at Tennessee State, great coaches, great players, which made it very easy for me.
Such a tremendous honor to be able to be here to accept the award on my father's behalf. He was a brilliant, beautiful, special person and an amazing quarterback, leagues above his contemporaries, and it's wonderful that he was recognized, and it's an honor for my family, and I got to be the one to accept it on his behalf. I'm thrilled for our whole family.
The athlete today has more choices in terms of where he can go to school. You look at a lot of these Hall of Famers that came out of Jackson State or Grambling or Arkansas Pine Bluff or Prairie View or wherever they went to school back in the 70s and 80s, even the 60s. They didn't have a choice as where they could go to school, whether it be Jackson State or wherever they went. They couldn't go to Ole Miss. They couldn't go to Alabama. They couldn't go to Georgia. They only had the HBCUs as far as their options are concerned. Today, the athlete has a lot more options.
The way the scouting is done these days, it doesn't matter what school you're at and where you're at, there's going to be scouts coming through and having an opportunity to evaluate you. And was not the case in years past for a lot of these guys.
By being a product of Bethune-Cookman College, I went in as a boy and I graduated as a man. You got to be ready for anything that could happen in life because the nurturing that I got from Bethune-Cookman to make it onto the pros and be out here.
The good thing about Tennessee State, they graduate their players, and that's what impressed my parents. That's what impressed me. And I was a baseball player. I didn't ever know I would reach the level to play in professional sports. So education came first.
Yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of these guys are in the NFL Hall of Fame, and now we just another one to add to our resume.
You come to this event and you hear the history and you hear what these young men have had to do to get where they have gotten. It's very inspiring.
It's just amazing the football players that have been enshrined into this Hall of Fame.
What would you like to say to the Bowie State family? I know that they mean a lot to you and you to them, but what would you like to say to Bowie State?
I'm just trying to put us on the map, put the whole CIAA on the map. And, for the players out there, just to keep pushing because you never know. You get a shot, your dream could come true. It was like a humbling experience. The whole time I was there, I know I could play at a bigger school. It was a very humbling experience to, just suck it up and just go through it there and play. And, if I can go back again, I really wouldn't change it. I met a lot of good people, Coach Lynn, me and him are still tight. you know, and it was just, you know, it was a real humbling experience for me.
Talk about your experiences at Auburn.
It's been great. You know, it's a great organization that I've been part of for 5 years, and you know, I think when you always go back home, you remember so many things about the yard that impresses you, and you know, I'm just glad that I'm a part of it. You know, not too many people can say that they went to a black college and playing in the National Football League as long as I have. You know, I've always told people just understand that education comes first, and regardless of the sports world. I mean, you know, because if you got a degree, you can be anything you want to be in life. You know, I mean, if you decide that you use the sports to get you the education, and that's what I did. And unfortunately, you know, it's just a blessing that I got a chance to get drafted by the Green Bay Packers, and I haven't looked back ever since then. And I tell guys now that you're gonna have that chance too. And when you get the opportunity to get your foot in the door, just don't let it slip away.
What's the best thing about being in South Carolina State?
It's just the atmosphere, man. It's all love, the black community, you sticking together, even the teachers and the coaches, and it's just a nice environment.
Anything you'd like to tell your fans, the South Carolina State fans, BAC fans, HBCU fans?
Just like to thank them for the support. I mean, I read up on the comments and stuff they made from the different articles I'm in, and just like to thank them all for supporting me and being behind me 100%.
It's called having a goal set, you know what I mean, a mindset. If you drive and you want something, you're going to go get it no matter what. First of all, stay prayed up. You know, you can pay that fine. You know what I mean? So just keep pushing.
I mean, it feels great. It's a blessing to be here in this position. I came a long way, and like I said, it's just a blessing to be in this position. And I'm thankful that I was able to get noticed at Hampton and, you know, help spring me to this level. Joe Taylor taught us a good job of being men. I come from a two-parent household. My father did the same thing, but he was my father away from home, and he took care of us and, you know, established discipline in us and punctuality, things like that, character. And, you know, big ups to him for that. It's a one-of-a-kind experience. I mean, you definitely, you know, some of the guys that come from the bigger schools and talk about how they had it in school, and, you know, like, HBCU is definitely a one-of-a-kind experience. I mean, those are the type of games you get up for. Anytime you play Norfolk, they right, you know, across the bridge, so it's bragging rights, you know. So we own Norfolk for a whole another year until they come back next year and play, and, you know, let's see what happens. Be coachable. That's the worst thing you can be in this business, is uncoachable. It's hard to get here, but once you get here, it's even harder to stay. So don't get comfortable, keep your nose to the ground, and always be willing to get better.
Going from a small school, going from Fort Valley State to the NFL major platform, it was a little bit of a challenge. I'm not gonna say a little bit, that would be grossly understatement, but it was a big mental challenge for me. Physically, talent-wise, I was just as good as anybody else, but from the mental side, I was kind of behind the curve a little bit. So there was a big adjustment my first 3 years in the NFL. My first 3 years, I was basically playing off of talent, but around my 4th, 5th year, then games started to slow down for me, and I was able to kind of find my niche. Well, I tell you, one of the biggest adjustments was just the fan population. You know, you come from playing in front of, you know, maybe 6, 8, 10,000 people to playing in front of 70-some thousand people. So, you know, that is a big culture change in itself. But to see guys that I saw on television, you know, my senior year at Fort Valley, the Jerry Rices, the Steve Youngs, and the Michael Irvins, the Emmitt Smiths, and now, you know, I'm literally right next to these guys, you know, getting ready to defend them, whereas I was trying to defend receivers from Tuskegee University, Albany State University. Now it's the Cowboys, it's the 49ers. So, you know, it was a real big change and a real big welcome to the NFL.